Imagine waking up every morning with a sharp mind, clear focus, and endless curiosity, no matter how many years you have lived. That's the secret everyone desires. The ability to keep the brain young, active, and full of life. But the truth is, the brain doesn't automatically stay sharp with age. Like muscles in the body, it weakens if left unused. The good news is you can train it, protect it, and even rewire it to remain young. Think of your brain as a garden. If you water it with the right habits, pull out the weeds of stress and negativity, and plant new seeds of learning, it will stay fresh and full of growth. But if you leave it unattended, the weeds of forgetfulness, confusion, and laziness begin to take over. Keeping the brain young is about making daily choices that nourish it. The first choice is learning. When you stop learning, the brain begins to decline. It thrives on challenges, on new information, on puzzles that force it to grow. Every time you read a book, solve a problem, or learn a new skill, your brain creates new neural pathways, like roads connecting different cities in your mind. The more roads you build, the easier it becomes for thoughts to travel, and the sharper your thinking remains. Even small challenges, like learning a new word every day, can keep it young. But learning alone is not enough. Your brain also depends on how you treat your body. Food, sleep, and exercise are the silent builders of brain health. If you eat too much junk food, skip sleep, or live without movement, you're cutting off the brain's fuel supply. Imagine trying to drive a car with no oil or gas. That's what happens when you ignore your body. Your brain suffers, your memory weakens, your focus fades. To keep it young, you must feed it like a high-performance engine. Fresh fruits, vegetables, omega-rich foods like fish and nuts, and enough water to keep it hydrated. These are not luxuries. They are brain essentials. And then comes the role of sleep. During deep rest, your brain clears out waste, repairs itself, and stores memories like files in a cabinet. Skip this process often, and you wake up foggy, irritated, and unable to think clearly. Protecting your sleep is protecting your brain's youth. Movement, too, is non-negotiable. When your body moves, blood flows, oxygen rises, and the brain feels alive, fresh, and active. A short walk, a light jog, even dancing in your room. These small acts pump life back into your mind. Your body and brain are always working together. So keeping your brain young is not about a single trick. It's about learning, feeding, resting, and moving. And when you start with these basics, you create the foundation. Because once your foundation is strong, you can go deeper into habits that not only protect your brain, but also expand its power beyond what you imagined. And that's where the real journey begins. Once the basics of learning, food, sleep, and movement are in place, the next layer in keeping your brain young is managing stress. Stress is like rust on metal, slow and invisible at first, but destructive if left untreated. The brain is sensitive to constant pressure, and when worry or fear stays too long, it harms memory, focus, and creativity. Many people accept stress as normal, but the truth is, unmanaged stress ages the brain faster than almost anything else. One simple way to protect your brain from stress is to create daily moments of stillness. Even 5 minutes of calm breathing or quiet observation can reset the nervous system. The brain loves balance, and when you give it short breaks, It recovers strength and clarity. Another way to handle stress is to change your response to problems. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "How can I grow from this?" This small shift turns stress from poison into fuel. Relationships also play a huge role in brain youth. Human connection is like exercise for the mind. When you talk, laugh, or share with others, your brain lights up in areas responsible for memory and emotions. Isolation, on the other hand, weakens those same areas. That is why people who stay socially active are less likely to experience memory decline. The brain stays sharp when it feels connected and understood. Even a short chat or family time can refresh your mind deeply. Another powerful habit is curiosity. The brain loves novelty, and it stays young with new experiences. Try learning a musical instrument, tasting a new dish, or exploring a new place, even if it is just a different street in your own city. Each new experience creates fresh neural activity, keeping the brain flexible and adaptable. Routine without change makes the brain lazy. If every day looks the same, sharpness begins to fade. So keeping it young means adding variety, even in small, simple ways. Technology, although useful, can be dangerous when overused. Endless scrolling and constant notifications shorten attention span. A young brain is not only about memory, it is also about focus. If you want to protect focus, you must allow moments away from screens. Read a book, write with a pen, or simply sit in silence. These simple actions strengthen the brain's deeper pathways that modern life slowly weakens. As you continue building habits, managing stress, connecting with people, staying curious, and limiting digital overload, you create a brain environment that resists aging. Each habit may look small on its own, but together they form a strong shield. And once this shield is in place, the brain is not only protected from decline, it even grows sharper with time. This may sound surprising, but the brain is designed for growth at every stage of life, and the more you respect this truth, the younger it stays. As the journey continues, one more secret of keeping the brain young is practicing gratitude. When the mind focuses on what is missing, it grows restless and weak. But when it notices what is already present and valuable, it becomes lighter, calmer, and stronger. Gratitude is not only an emotional tool, it is also biological food for the brain. Research shows that thankful thoughts release dopamine and serotonin, chemicals that refresh mood and strengthen memory. You do not need hours to practice gratitude. Even writing 3 simple things you are grateful for each night changes the brain. This gentle habit teaches the mind to search for good, and with practice it rewires itself toward optimism. Another pillar of brain youth is forgiveness. Carrying anger or resentment is like carrying heavy bags up a hill. The brain cannot stay young if it is always weighed down. Letting go is not for the other person, it is for your own health. Forgiveness reduces stress chemicals, and it opens space for creativity and peace. Many people underestimate the power of laughter. Yet laughter is medicine, exercise, and memory training all in one. When you laugh, blood flow improves, oxygen rises, and mental sharpness grows. Even recalling funny memories or watching a light comedy can reset the brain's energy. Just as the body needs water, the brain needs play and joy. Speaking of joy, another way to protect your brain is through purpose. A brain without purpose becomes slow, like a boat without direction. But a brain with a sense of meaning, even a small one, stays motivated and alert. Purpose could be raising a child with love, creating art, or simply helping someone each day. When the mind knows why it wakes up, it has energy to stay young and active. Creativity is also a natural anti-aging tool. Painting, writing, cooking new recipes, or even solving puzzles all light up the brain. These activities connect different regions of the mind, making it more flexible and resilient. Flexibility is the true sign of a young brain. It bends, adapts, and learns without breaking. Spirituality, too, plays a role in brain health. Moments of prayer, meditation, or reflection bring calm and perspective. They lower stress, increase hope, and remind the mind of something larger than itself. When the brain feels part of a greater story, it stays inspired and less trapped in fear. All these practices, gratitude, forgiveness, laughter, purpose, creativity, and spirituality, work together to keep the mind alive and youthful. They form a lifestyle, not just a checklist, and when lived daily, they give strength even in later years. So the path to a young brain is not hidden in expensive cures or complex secrets. It is hidden in small choices, repeated with care. The brain rewards these choices with energy, clarity, and joy, making each year not a decline but an expansion. One of the most overlooked secrets of keeping the brain young is the power of nature. Modern life locks people inside rooms, offices, and screens, but the human brain was designed in open fields, forests, and sunlight. When you spend time outside, your mind remembers its natural rhythm. Fresh air increases oxygen to the brain, and natural light regulates the body's clock, keeping focus and mood balanced. Even a short walk in a park or sitting near trees can lower stress and sharpen attention. Nature is not just scenery, it is medicine for the nervous system. Another important aspect is lifelong learning. The brain is a muscle of curiosity, and if it stops learning, it starts shrinking. It does not matter what you learn, languages, skills, or even small facts. What matters is that the brain feels challenged. Every new lesson forms connections between neurons, and these connections act like youth, keeping the brain alive. If you want your mind to stay fresh, never stop being a student of life. Some people fear aging because they think memory loss is inevitable. But memory is like a garden. It grows only if watered. A simple practice is to memorize small things regularly. It could be a poem, a new word, or a list of items. These exercises keep memory pathways active, making them resistant to decline. And the more you test your recall, the more confident your brain becomes. Another way to keep the brain strong is to embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. Comfort zones may feel safe, but they make the mind lazy. When you try difficult tasks, the brain responds by creating fresh growth. This is why solving puzzles, playing strategy games, or learning new technology can all protect the brain from aging. Discomfort is actually exercise for the mind, and each challenge makes it stronger. Emotions also have a big effect on brain youth. Holding negative feelings for too long burns mental energy. But when you express emotions in healthy ways, through writing, conversation, or art, the brain feels lighter and more flexible. It is not about avoiding emotions. It is about guiding them into forms that bring relief. Optimism especially has deep effects on the brain. Positive thoughts are not just hopeful, they are chemical. They release hormones that repair cells and reduce stress, helping the brain stay clear and strong. So when you choose to focus on hope rather than fear, you are actually training your brain to remain youthful. All these habits, time in nature, continuous learning, memory practice, healthy challenges, emotional release, and optimism, weave together into a fabric of resilience. And resilience is the quality that keeps the brain not only young, but also prepared for every stage of life. When the brain is resilient, it does not fear age, it welcomes growth. Another dimension of keeping the brain young lies in nutrition beyond the basics. Food is not only energy for the body, it is also information for the brain. When you eat wisely, your brain reads those signals and builds strength. When you eat poorly, it becomes tired and slow. Certain foods are especially powerful for protecting memory and focus. Omega-3 fats from fish, nuts, and seeds feed brain cells and keep them flexible. Antioxidants from colorful fruits and vegetables fight off damage that makes the brain age faster. Green tea, turmeric, and dark chocolate in small amounts are proven to boost mental clarity and protect neurons. Even hydration plays a major role. Dehydration can shrink attention span and slow thinking, so drinking enough water each day is one of the simplest ways to keep the brain fresh. Equally important is avoiding what harms the brain. Excess sugar and processed foods create inflammation. This inflammation slowly damages memory pathways, making the brain weaker over time. Alcohol and smoking also cut off oxygen and nutrients, causing early decline if used heavily. By making daily food choices with care, you set the foundation for a younger mind. Sleep too needs deeper attention. It is not only about hours, it is about quality. During deep sleep, the brain cleans itself. Toxins are flushed out, and memories are organized. Skipping proper rest blocks this cleaning process, and the result is confusion, stress, and early aging. That is why setting a calm night routine is vital. Dim lights, avoid screens, and create silence before bed. These simple habits tell the brain it is safe to rest. And safe rest leads to sharper days. Movement also deserves a second look. It is not just exercise, it is circulation. Every step, stretch, or dance move sends blood and oxygen directly to the brain. Even 10 minutes of walking daily can light up regions responsible for memory and decision-making. The brain loves rhythm and flow. Movement gives it both, keeping it youthful and alert. Another often ignored habit is balance. Doing too much, even of good things, can harm. The brain does best with moderation. Enough rest, enough challenge, but not overload in any direction. Balance is what allows long-term sustainability, and sustainability is what keeps the mind young for decades. So when you look at food, sleep, movement, and balance together, you see they are not separate habits but one circle. Each supports the other, and the circle keeps the brain alive and young. As we reach the final stage of this journey, one truth becomes clear. The brain stays young when life stays meaningful. All the habits of food, sleep, movement, learning, and gratitude matter, but without meaning, they are only pieces of a puzzle without a picture. The brain is designed to search for purpose. It thrives when it feels it is moving towards something valuable. Purpose does not have to be huge or loud. It can be found in small, steady acts of care. Helping a neighbor, guiding a child, or creating something useful each day will feed the brain with energy. When the mind senses meaning, it resists fear and slows the effects of aging. Community also plays a big role in this picture. A brain that serves others stays sharper than one that only serves itself.
Teaching, sharing, and volunteering give mental stimulation and joy.
Reminding the mind it still has work to do. This sense of usefulness becomes a shield against decline. It gives the brain a reason to stay awake and alive. Another key is adaptability. Life keeps changing, and a rigid brain grows old quickly. But a flexible brain, one that can adjust, learn, and flow with change, remains fresh no matter the age. Adaptability can be practiced by accepting new ideas, trying different methods, and letting go of outdated fears. This mental flexibility is like oil in a machine, keeping it smooth and youthful. Reflection is also vital in the final picture. When you pause to look back, your brain organizes meaning. Reflection helps you connect dots, turning experiences into wisdom. Wisdom itself is not a sign of old age. It is proof of a young brain that has learned well. By combining reflection with curiosity, the brain holds both memory and growth in balance. Finally, joy must never be forgotten. Joy is the light that keeps the brain glowing. Without joy, all habits feel heavy. With joy, every habit becomes natural. Joy can be found in music, art, faith, family, or play. It is not about constant excitement, but steady delight. When the brain feels joy, it sends signals of renewal through the whole body. So the secret to a young brain is not just in doing the right things. It is in doing them with meaning, adaptability, reflection, and joy. When these qualities join with good food, rest, movement, and relationships, the brain does not merely avoid decline, it flourishes. And that flourishing becomes the proof that youth is not lost with age. It is created again and again through choices made each day.